Plato is a foundational figure in Western political thought. He learned his most important concepts from Socrates. Plato lived during this period, and Peloponnesian War was going on around that time. Okay, so he lived through this war, which Thucydides described. And after the war, in which Athens was defeated, Plato belongs to Athens. Oligarchy ruled during 404 and 403, and this oligarchy included some of Plato's family members. So Plato belongs to an aristocratic family, and that oligarchy was deposed by democratic regime. It is the democratic regime that executed Socrates. Okay. And Plato founded world's first university called Academy in 387 BC, which survived for 1,000 years. And his main book is Republic, written during 380 to 370 BC. Okay. All important ideas of Plato's political thought are contained in this book. Okay. What are these important ideas? Socrates talked only about the individual. Okay. Socrates' focus is on the individual, whereas Plato extended this to political system. Okay. In Socrates' teaching, a person can be good and happy. Goodness is equated with happiness, and individual interest is also social interest. Okay. Which meant what is properly political is also ethical. Socrates felt that there is a unity between goodness and happiness, but that unity comes only one is knowledgeable, and this knowledge comes through reasoning. A huge part of this knowledge is self-knowledge. Socrates believed, okay, only in self-knowledge, and Socrates did not focus on other things, but Plato would focus on other things. Okay. And to Socrates, one important concept is justice. Justice to him is goodness, and happiness. Okay. And being influenced by Socrates, Plato wanted to find out what is a just political system, in that context, just city, because Athens was a city state. Empires in that place came much later, but Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle were living in a city state. Okay. And Plato wanted to apply Socratic method of questioning, reasoning, counter questioning, which is called dialectics, to arrive at truth. Okay. So this book, Republic, is a dialogue. Republic is a dialogue in which Socrates talks with many other people, interactive, questioning and counter questioning. Socrates doesn't give speeches. If one person defines something in a particular way, Socrates questions. This method is called dialectics. Dialectics refers to resolution of contradictions. Okay. And in Republic, Plato creates a character, Socrates, and then various people will make various proposals to Socrates, and so they discuss. But the problem with this approach is we don't know what Socrates said and what Plato wants to say now. So, Socrates given in Plato's Republic, you can say, is Plato's Socrates. And by convention, we take it as Plato rather than Socrates. Okay, so you can say, though Socrates was conversing in the Republic, we can assume that it is Plato, because it is Plato's understanding of Socrates and Plato's extension of Socratic thought to the political system in Plato's view. Okay. Now, let us discuss certain central ideas of Republic. Central idea is, I would say, is justice in a soul. Socrates starts discussing what is meant by justice. Okay, various definitions are offered. Socrates rejects, and then he proposes justice in soul. Justice in soul is defined in a particular way. In modern times, justice is equated with equality, equity, but Socrates doesn't do like that. To Socrates, justice is a kind of harmony. Proper relationship. Peace, out of which goodness, happiness, being happy comes. So what kind of a soul will bring that goodness and happiness? That soul is, to Socrates, is in harmony, where there is a proper relationship across the parts. What are those parts? Socrates would say that what should guide a soul is wisdom. Which may be superior to courage, honor. And the things like physical activities, physical desires like sex, money desire, these things should be led by wisdom. Okay. What does this mean? Take, for example, a scientist. Okay. A scientist should first be wise to think on what he should work, isn't it? On what he should work. So wisdom is the first thing. And then he can apply his knowledge, things like this. And then in that process, he may do some physical activity. So man should be guided by wisdom first. Okay. For example, we should eat. But if we simply eat going by our desire without any control, then our eating becomes a problem. We may end up overeating with diseases. So, justice within a soul is about what are the parts of the soul and what is the relationship across the parts. Where there is a harmony, where there is a proper relationship in terms of hierarchy, not in terms of equality. Wisdom should be higher than bodily pleasures. So that is a harmonious, just and good soul. Okay. Okay. So, for example, okay, Plato said like this: the topmost aspect of the soul is reasoning part, which is the source of wisdom and truth. Topmost. Next, spirited part, which is the source of honor. You can also courage. This is the second. And there is an appetitive part. We have desires for money and sex and other body pleasures. Okay. And there should be temperance. Temperance is about relationship across these parts. And if there is right relationship, then you call it just soul. So soul has 3 parts, and these 3 parts have to be harmoniously in a hierarchical way connected, each part knowing its role. Okay. Next, Plato makes one very important assumption. Reasoning part, spirited part, appetites. Okay. These are there in every person. And there should be a healthy, proper relationship. But from this, okay, Plato makes further observations that in some people, reason may be higher. In some people, spirited part may be higher. In some, appetites. So this is an extended thinking. So some people may be reason-oriented group, some people may be this, some people may be this. So he would say, just society or a just city is about hierarchical relationship across these classes, class 1, class 2, class 3. Okay. So reasoning oriented people should be the rulers. Spirited oriented people should be warriors. And the remaining others, traders, farmers, and all others. That is, hierarchy in a just soul is extended to hierarchy of people in a just city. But is that right? Are there really people? There may be reason dominance, but do we really have a group of people like that? Chosen, who can be chosen? Okay. So, anyway, why did Plato think like that? It is because if one component is dominant, he thought others won't. So because of which he classified people into the classes, and hierarchical relationship across these classes is what would make a just city. Okay, let us see what he said. Okay, this is okay. We know anyone whose predilection tends strongly in a single direction has correspondingly less desire for other things. Like a stream whose flow has been diverted into another channel. So if one is going in one direction, in another direction it will be very little. If one is going in a reasoning direction, spirited dimension is very little. Like this. Rulers and philosophers. Rulers are philosopher kings. And second class is auxiliaries. They constitute fighting force. And third class is a productive class, constituting farmers, craftsmen, and traders. And these first two classes are also called guardians. Okay. And all the classes together have wisdom coming from philosopher kings, courage coming from auxiliary, and there should be a temperance. Temperance is not a feature of the third class. It is about acceptance of their place in a society. Justice is doing one's own task and not to meddle with that of others. Okay. So, parts of the soul are interlinked with parts of society, each part consisting of classes. Okay. So, that is justice. And what should constitute a right soul? Would constitute a right city. And these are the things he said about right soul. See, this is what he said about soul. When the whole soul accepts the leadership of the philosophical part, there is no internal conflict. Then each part can do its job and be just in everything it does. And in particular, can enjoy its own pleasures and thus reap as much benefit and truth from pleasure as it is possible for it. And when of the other two parts is in control, however, it not only fails to attain its own pleasure, but it also forces the other parts to go after unsuitable and false pleasures. For example, if you overeat, because of which you become sick, something like diabetes, then you can't enjoy eating many things, which includes sweets. So if you fail to get body pleasures when they are not led by wisdom, and giving importance to the appetites, Plato thinks, can bring disasters. So the soul in which this appetite element is dominant, he calls it the tyrannical. The tyrannical soul is controlled by a small part of the appetitive element, which is loathsome. Nothing is too outrageous. A person acts as if he were totally lacking in moral principle and unhampered by intelligence. In his dreams, he doesn't stop at trying to have sex with his mother, with anyone or anything else, man, beast, or God. He's ready to slaughter everything, anything. There is nothing he won't eat. So, if there is no control over appetites, that's what happened. Okay. So, appetites, they can make a person a monster. Okay. So, they should be controlled by wisdom. So, like this. This constitutes justice within an individual. Okay. So this is eminently sensible proposal. But then Plato extends to this to classes. Okay. And so he thinks that there should be a way of selecting people and creating a right kind of society that has temperance and justice across classes. So what we supposed to be across soul parts has to be across classes. Then we will see how Plato wants to implement it.